In our last video, we were in Norfolk, Virginia. We explored the Waterside District as well as the Waterfront. Then we checked out the heart of the downtown. We walked the streets of the Neon District, then checked out the Freemason District. In this video,
we're in Portsmouth, Virginia.
For context, we were in Portsmouth in early June of 2025.
So today we're in Portsmouth, Virginia. We took the ferry right behind me from the waterfront area in Norfolk over to Portsmouth. We're going to check out Old Town and the waterfront area.
Since arriving by ferry isn't common, we thought this would be a great way to start this video. Portsmouth is approximately a 15-minute ferry ride from Norfolk. At the time of this filming, it was $4 for a round-trip ticket. When visiting Norfolk, a ferry ride to Portsmouth should be a must-do on your itinerary.
Portsmouth is across the Elizabeth River from Norfolk. It was founded in 1752 and has a current population of about 98,000. This lens began its service in 1898. It was deactivated in 1948. It is one of the largest and brightest of its kind, and its purpose is to assist mariners navigating near shore. So while we were there, they were setting up for the Seawall Music Festival. It's always held the same weekend as Norfolk's Harbor Fest. This is the Naval Shipyard Museum, which was created in 1949 and moved to this location in 1963. It showcases the history of the shipyard, which is the oldest continuously operating naval shipyard in the United States. The red ship you see there is the lightship Portsmouth. It was launched in 1916. Lightships were floating lighthouses anchored at entrances to ports or other places that were dangerous to aid vessels in navigation. It was moved here as a museum in 1967.
With that said, it looks like it's time for our first update.
So we've reached the end of the waterfront. Now we're going to go check out Old Town. The Old Town area was founded in 1752. This district is known for its large collection of well-preserved homes from various eras. They have over 200 period homes. The Hill House shown here was built in 1825 as a private home and donated to be a museum in the 60s. Since Portsmouth is one of the oldest seaports in the United States, it boasts the largest concentration of historic buildings between Charleston, South Carolina, and Alexandria, Virginia.
Note the placards that you'll see throughout this historic neighborhood. What a fantastic way to learn of this city's history.
Yeah, and there's also a great online self-guided walking tour. The building with the turret shown here was built in 1894 as a private home. Then it was converted to an Elks Lodge in 1933. It transitioned to apartments in the 70s, and it remains apartments today.
If you're a regular viewer of our channel, you know our primary focus is always the historic downtown, which we'll get to here shortly, but there was just no way we could pass up the opportunity to show you this historic residential neighborhood.
The church across the street was built in 1901.
And as we entered the core of the downtown, we were pleasantly surprised to find some activity going on.
Yeah, it was great to see their Saturday market, coupled with a car show and even some live music. The Commodore Theater opened in 1945 and closed in 1975. It was restored and reopened in 1989, becoming the first cinema eatery in the United States.
Wow, that really was ahead of its time.
The beautiful monumental Methodist Church was built in 1831. And St. Paul's Catholic Church, shown here, was built in 1905. St. Paul's School was used from 1891 to 1991. It's since been restored and is a special events venue. In 1620, this was recognized as a good shipbuilding location, so King James I of England granted land for this purpose.
And we were heartbroken to see this old tavern had recently closed.
In addition to being the oldest shipyard in the U.S., it is also home to the oldest hospital in the U.S., the Naval Hospital.
And here's just a closer view of the front of the Commodore Theater.
The city itself is named for Portsmouth, England. This statue is Colonel William Crawford, who's the founder of Portsmouth in 1752. This was originally a post office built in 1909, but the library moved here in 1963.
And with that said, it looks like it's time to wrap this one up. All right, what'd you think of Portsmouth, Virginia?
I really liked it. In the Old Town area, what amazing houses. It is incredible how old some of these buildings are. And we stumbled upon their Saturday market, which had music and vendors. I thought it was great.
I loved it. I absolutely loved this visit. I'm embarrassed to admit that from our hotel room we thought we were looking at Norfolk, and turns out we were looking at Portsmouth, and then we further found out that there was a ferry, and that's why we're here. We didn't even have this on our itinerary, and I loved it. The history here, the quaint downtown. There's some kind of festival going on with music.
The waterfront.
The waterfront is beautiful. Everything about this is a huge thumbs up.
Me too.
All right, get off the couch. See you next time.
Cheers.